The next station will be Fortuna 69.
Having a simple but well-maintained line of feedback between players and developers is important for any game, from both sides of the computer screen. Players can't truly enjoy the game if they're never listened to by the developers, because after all, we're the market audience for the product that is Warframe, not DE themselves. Devs can't truly improve upon their game if they never take feedback into consideration, which is a no-brainer because even though Warframe is a free-to-play game, the players are still the customers. It might not take any money to play Warframe unlike other games out there, but Warframe still takes your time, which is something that can never be refunded. While we certainly do have plenty of avenues to shower DE with ideas and suggestions for how we wish to see the game be improved, it still comes across as odd to see those same places be not used as often as they should be. Take for example, the Design Council. The Design Council was initially introduced as a sub-forum for founders in the early days of Warframe, where early backers could converse with the DE team. One of the premier examples of interactions between the Design Council and DE is Nova, who was named and created by Design Council members and then eventually put into the game by DE after a poll. The Design Council was then changed so 25 new members could be invited per month, that way founders wouldn't be the only people consisting the council. However, if you're also a member of the Design Council, then you also know that it isn't exactly as wildly active as it used to be. The Design Council sub-forum was extremely active from DE's side in the early stages of the game, given that new threads were posted on an almost monthly basis all the way up until late 2016, where activity from them decreased to the point that we only received 5 new posts from DE for the entirety of 2017. It's gotten better since then, but being active doesn't necessarily mean you're listening, as a previous Ivara augment thread will show you, but to be fair, it's definitely better to be a little bit inactive than to be absolutely forgotten like the TF2 community is. That doesn't mean that DE is incapable of correcting themselves, as that's just outright wrong. Just because it doesn't happen all the time doesn't mean it doesn't happen at all. However, the time in which it takes DE to deliver something the players want or correct a mistake they themselves created is sometimes hysterical to say the least. Consider how long it took us to get vacuum mods for Sentinels and Companions. It wasn't exactly the universal vacuum that we all were asking for, but it got the job done. You would think that an adequate reason would be given as to why DE was so against implementing universal vacuum, but there never was one. Consider other situations in which change is only implemented after a sizable amount of outrage. For instance, I'm sure you remember how terrible Oberon's initial rework was.
Try against a level 1 heavy gunner. Elvin, please. Please don't tell me this enemy is going to survive this. You're going to wound me. If this enemy lives through this, I might actually cry. I might actually cry for anyone who likes Oberon. If this enemy lives through this, I'm going to be you're going to see some real sad Brozyme. Please, God, no. End my life. Kill me.
As another example, I'm fairly certain you remember this video. My point is, you shouldn't need to have a ludicrous amount of attention just to get something done. It's certainly true that DE can't pay attention to everyone at the same time, especially given the sheer number of people that have been exposed to the game, but that doesn't mean that you can't pay closer attention to what the community is asking for. With that in mind, BoostPad had better be removed from Vauban in the coming months, or else somebody at DE is going to need to check their inbox. Thank you for watching.